sound. All right, hey guys, we'll just get started in like 2 or 3 minutes. We'll wait 2 or 3 more minutes. Let's everyone get come in and then settle down, and then we'll be beginning with our first Wireside Chat event. It's actually a very specific event which we came up with. It's more like an informal tech session talk where we come up with the latest trends in technology, talk about different AI models, what they are, coming up with next, and basically everything you guys want to talk about. So this is a very, informal tech session, but also a networking session. So feel free to, discuss among yourself what you think about these things. And you'll also be asking you that as well. Not that loud enough. Pretty loud. So there are more like it's not like finding things for workshop but what we're doing for that work. Yeah, like what we're doing that is for that is for like really have one event every so every you'll be having also you can like a Wireside Chat if you guys it was related to media. Or like how we find meetings, how we work around the Wireside. All right, guys, let's get started. So, welcome everyone. This is our first Fireside Chat event, and since we were founded by Ananya in 2019, this is actually one of the most innovative techie workshops which we are doing. It's not really a workshop at the same time, but also kind of like a workshop where people socialize, network, talk about different things in tech. Uh, Ivan, he's like one of in he's in one of the classes, and he'll be joining us shortly, and he'll be also presenting his topics. So in the meanwhile, we can get started. So, anyways, you guys can see we have a bunch of things here. So we'll be discussing about iPhone 16. If you guys like virtual reality, we have the Meta Quest 3S, which was recently released, I think, September 25th and September 26th. It was the Meta Connect event. We will be talking about pagers. You might have seen this thing, which was all over the internet, where we had, a couple of associations. They used the devices for some attacks, but it was more like a hardware attack. Like pagers do not have these things inbuilt, but it was like a very planned attack. We'll be discussing about some updates about BlackRock, Microsoft, OpenAI going non-profit company raising some funds. So basically all about that. And if you guys saw the Orion classes which Meta recently released. Okay, first of all, if you guys don't know, since ASU is already number one in innovation, we also topped the list for Perplexity AI Pro subscription. If you guys haven't already got your subscription, you guys should get it. I'll be presenting the link in the next slide. And ASU topped the list with 2,938 registrations. Actually, there was like this contest between schools, and I think UC Berkeley was on top, and you guys helped us a lot. We put this link in our Discord channel that you should subscribe for Perplexity Pro, and now we have free 1-year subscription for Perplexity. So if you guys haven't already got the subscription, you guys can take a photo of this link, and you can get your 1-year free subscription. The best thing about Perplexity is it's very intuitive, and it basically uses a lot of API calls from different servers. So it's very research focused. And virtually myself, I've been using Perplexity as my main search engine. What else can I say? So it's pretty good. You guys should go ahead and register for Perplexity AI back to school. All right. Talking about recent updates from OpenAI. OpenAI recently released GPT-01. Now, it's more of a reinforcement-based learning model, which is more like a research based. It emphasizes more on research. And if you guys see on the screen, there's this person, Mario Friend. He's he's one of the senior professors at an AI scientist lab at Max Planck Institute. And he said that, in his in his field of quantum physics, it gives significantly more detailed and coherent responses. But we don't have to be, worried about it. I mean, it's not AGI. We are still on the edge that AI might take our job, but not really. I mean, we don't have to care about that right now. So it's more like a deep thinking and reasoning model, as I mentioned earlier. So we have the O1 mini, we have the O1 preview, and then the O1 regular. We heard some rumors that they will be coming up with a very pro model subscription, which will be like $2,000 a month. And it will be very much focusing on, it will be very much focused on research and like coding all those textbooks, and it will be very much educational field enterprise. All right, as I was mentioning before, this is basically based on reinforcement learning. Not getting very much technical here, but what we are basically doing here is, it goes through a chain of thought. So basically, AI has got its own thinking, but not really its own brain. And that's what the OpenAI is doing with GPT-01. I'll let Ivan take over from here for his slides.
How's it going, guys? Sorry, I just came out of class. There's a school class called FIS 394. There's this guy called Andrew Maynard. He's like one of the leading AI figures at ASU. He hosts like a 1-hour class, free pizza, 5 to 6 every Thursday. You just come, you don't even have to say anything. Discuss some really cool stuff. It's a great way to connect with like incredible people. But anyways, yeah, let's get into this. So yeah, GPT-01 came out. Let me just send back a few slides.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so pretty cool stuff. They came out with O1 Mini, which is like they optimize like speed and intelligence, whatever that means. And then there's O1 preview. I think this is only for like the paid GPT users. And that's like kind of like a, I don't know, an okay version of O1, but O1 regular, which is locked in a cage, they aren't letting anyone use it right now. They're hinting at like a $2,000 a month plan for it, which tells you, I don't know, it might just be hype, but it tells you how capable it is. But O1 preview is really kind of like what we're going to be looking at today, because it's something that we can actually use as we speak. But yeah, it does something called reinforcement learning. It's very much this like kind of recursive chain of thought. It takes time, so in essence, it thinks, which is but you can kind of see it like takes the input reasoning output and then feeds that as input for the next turn. So I've been playing around with it since it came out. I've maybe given it like some 40 prompts, some pretty easy, some pretty complicated. I've noticed that for the easier prompts, um, it it overdoes it a little too much and ends up not getting it right. When it thinks it's more complicated than it needs to be. So that's like a case where you would give it to like a lower model, then it will actually do it better. But for the complicated tests, it does it really well. You could see like 60 thoughts that goes through it. It actually narrates the process. It's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, so here's some benchmark tests of how good it is. So you have like AP exams, you have PhD level science questions. And for those PhD level science questions, you can actually see the biggest improvements. You know, physics went from 60 to like 93, huge deal. And that's cool. That's really impressive. But again, this is niche, right? So this is one of the limitations of the AI models we have right now. You know, it isn't as well-rounded as we are, so we don't have to worry too much. But you know, in some things it is good. You can see it's good at answering test questions, yeah. Okay, but what about producing research papers? So here's like a little IQ test they gave it. You can see the earlier models and other competitors. So you can see that like a lot of companies actually caught up to GPT 4.0. And so everyone's like, oh, the hype is dying, plateauing. But obviously not, it's just way little. And these guys say won't be wasting something. We'll get into that guy too. But yeah, I mean, it's saying like, what's that, one standard deviation above average IQ, according to whatever IQ test they did here. Obviously, those have their own, but clearly it's out competing there. So something to keep an eye on. Yeah, and so there's some, who here knows what Devin is? Who here is a concept major? Yeah, kind of scary. So if you don't know, Devin is it's this startup founded by some kid with like a cool story. I don't know, like graduated college at like 19. I don't know. I probably something like some impressive kid, some child product, whatever. But he founded the startup where basically his claim is we're building AI tools that will literally act as a software developer, a better software developer. They're cheaper, for you know, it's cheaper. Like hiring a software developer is very expensive. These are you know, white collar careers and we invest pretty heavily. But if you could replace that by something cheaper, I would totally, right? I would buy it. So that's where the real fear comes in, especially with like junior level developers and interns. They, you know, they first will be rendered useless, and then companies trying to save money. You know, it'll be it can be a shaky market. But anyways, they actually OpenAI is pairing up with Devin, okay, like hand in hand, and they're getting it together. You can see like before I'm not really sure what the evaluation score is based on here, but I remember seeing some metric like they web scraped all like the GitHub issues, and it solved like some good 20% of them. I saw that maybe like 6 months ago, which is pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie, but you know it's not enough. But yeah, so maybe that's that number, maybe it isn't. But the point is now it's at 75. Whatever that means, this is some internal hidden benchmark that they're not going to share with us. It might be some hype for the VC funded company because that's what it is. But it's still something to keep an eye on. Like we know O1 is very complicated compared to what we've seen in the past. And that means it's going to be better at coding codes. So, all right, so here's a little riddle. It's kind of like a well-known one. It's there are 5 people, A, B, C, D, okay, in a room. A is watching TV with B, so you can cross those out. Okay, E is playing table tennis, you can cross D out. D is sleeping, you can cross D out. And then suddenly a call came on the phone and D went on the room. It has nothing to do. You pay attention, it has nothing to do with this. We already crossed D out. The question is, what is C? Yeah, table tennis, because you need a second person to play table tennis. So yeah, you know, not, I don't know what percent of people will be able to solve this immediately. I don't want to be like pessimistic or optimistic here, but if you had GPT, it gives you the right answer. So this is like a question of, okay, thought for a couple seconds. You can also expand it. That's cool, but also this is kind of like a classic question. So this might just be memory too. They might have preset this model with like these little tests and trainings just to be able to be good at this. There's several other notable AI tests you can do. Like if one of you guys end up taking like CSC 4711 the earlier units, they kind of teach you about them. It's pretty cool. I won't get into it now, but it seems to be pretty good at those. So I don't know how much of this is like really like reasoning. It's kind of outside of AI we need to expand on. We're good at like the system one thinking, where it's like, that's what it is, like kind of like a speaking, the image recognition. Now we're moving on to system 2, where it's like really thought out reasoning, you know, what makes us up. Okay. So so limitations, slower, like it, I gave it a prompt and thought, I don't know, 80 seconds, right? Yeah, it was a big prompt. I gave it an entire coding file, asked them to do a big thing, I forgot what, but, you know, 8 seconds thought time, which is fine, I'm patient. Not perfect, right? Didn't do exactly what I wanted it to do. If I have to re-input it, a good amount of time. Cost on their end, this is very costly. Think about it, like the requests are now like what, like 60 times the equivalent, right? So very heavy on their end. I don't know. I honestly, like, I'm in a bubble. I pay for GPT. I don't know if you guys don't have access to it, right? Have you guys tried going on GPT? Do you guys have access to O1 Mini? No? Okay, so that's probably just me. But I do know, like, last time I checked, like, GPT is losing money. Maybe it's because of the free service, but I don't know. They probably aren't losing like $20 or more than $20 for. They probably aren't losing more than $20 a month because I'm using. But you know, if they do democratize this more, then yeah, it's very close. Limited features. So yeah, so for O, you can put in like any file. You can put zips file. Right? You can put zips file. You can put PNG. You can put all kinds of stuff. You can ask it to, you know, you can give it an Excel file, ask it to analyze data, make a graph for you. Yeah, you can't do that. There's no multimodal input right now. So you can only feed it text pretty much. And it does have niche string. As we looked at like the previous benchmarks, like yeah, it's good at it, but you know, it's not good at being like creative. It's not good at being innovative, stuff like that. You know, all the AI limitations we're familiar with. Okay, little discussion about Sam Altman. Yeah, controversial dude, hype beast for sure. Not that it's a bad thing, but basically, yeah.
Okay, guys, so we were discussing about Sam Altman. If you guys saw in the news, or maybe it was very controversial that this guy, he's kind of like a prodigy. I wouldn't say he's not smart, but also, if you guys heard the rumors, OpenAI is, going in losses because he's fancy of, like expensive cars, and he was found around going in like some 5 million Koenigsegg. While students commented that, let him be because he, helped us with our quizzes and exams. I mean, we're on campus, we don't have to talk about it, but everyone knows, we research using OpenAI or whatever. But anyways, good news for you guys. OpenAI will be here. They will be still helping us with researching on our assignments, basically. So they're raising $6.6 billion in funding, and they're actually removing their nonprofit control, and they're giving Sam Altman equity. So we have been, thinking about it, and we have heard rumors, could be possibly true. So seems like he has, like received equity for the first time in the for-profit company, and it could be probably worth somewhere around $150 billion after the restructuring. He was also recently in talks with some people in the Middle East, I think some sheikhs from Dubai, that they will be needing a major restructuring of the company, and they are looking for funds for that. Okay, this is quite funny. I think Ivan added it, but if you want, you can say about it.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw this on like this subreddit. I think it's Singularity. Yes, I mean, it's sure, I guess, but like the question here, I kind of want to open the floor for a second is, do you guys think AI is overhyped or underhyped? Because it's definitely hyped, but how much do you expect from AI in the future? Let's say, let me give you like a 8 years from now. Do you think that hype today will be matched or underwhelmed or overwhelmed? Raise your hand if you think it'll be matched. Raise your hand if you think it's overhyped right now. Okay, raise your hand if you think it's underhyped. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't want to turn this into like a discussion class, but everyone has their reasons here. I just thought this comment was like funny because ultimately, like, I don't, just like one more funny thing. This guy really said that. Saying please and thank you to ChatGPT, probably a good thing. You never. Yeah, I mean they don't like program it to like have to see polite responses, but there's a lot of mystery and magic behind the mathematics of neural networks, just as there is to our brain. Just funny statement.
I would say something though.
Yeah,
so I found this that when I ask ChatGPT to do something for me, like give it a thesis and ask it to create a summary for it. If it doesn't do a good job, I might just ask it, can you please do this for me? It actually works well. I feel like that's how they have trained it.
I didn't even know that. I swear. I'm so mean to it. Okay. But yeah, so this is another like excerpt that comes from a review with but it's a claim. I think it's interesting to look at it, whether you believe it or not. We're absolutely at a place where if AI completely stopped running, we would still have 5 to 10 years of rapid change, absorbing the capabilities of the current models and then integrating them with the organization. He doesn't think it's gonna stop. I agree with it. You guys don't have to. But I do think this is like an unstoppable momentum. And even as it is right now, it's so incredibly awesome. I'm using it every day. I'm finding new ways to use it. It's honestly like, I don't know. It's so cool. I'll get into that a little more. Yeah, okay. So I kind of want to ask you guys, like in what way you're integrating these new technologies in your life right now. I'll tell you something I did like yesterday. So you see that little icon there? That's like the ChatGPT like enhanced voice thing they just came out with. But I was walking back. I was studying late night data. It was like 11:30 p.m. I'm walking back. I live like on the other side of campus. Like I live at campus. So I'm walking back and it's like kind of bored. I don't really want to listen to music. But because my brain was moving, right? I just like spent a lot of time studying. So I'm like, what can I do right now? Like, you know what? I'm gonna use this like AI thing, this realistic voice. I put on the headphones. I'm literally having a conversation with it on the walk back. Like if anyone knew I was doing that, geez, I would have been embarrassed. But I was asking him to like interview, give me system design questions, because it's recruiting season right now. So I was answering it, and it was giving me really good feedback, really good questions. And it was just like a very productive thing to do while walking back, while doing something that would normally be like some time in my day, right? So that's just something I did like yesterday for the first time, right? I anticipate I keep doing this. I was very satisfied with it. But I don't know, I just kind of want to look at the four cardinals and talk about like what are some unique ways that maybe you're using it. If not, then that's fine. Yeah.
Just one thing I think is interesting, like, so I have a Pixel 8 Pro, and it has a bunch of AI stuff on it. Let's heard a bit about that. And I feel like, well, ChatGPT is leading the way with that intelligence aspect of it. If we talk about like actually like integrating it into our lives, I think Google's done a really good job at slowly rolling out, and a bunch of other companies incorporating, and I think the main way people will interact with AI is through some of these other people. Like AI, just in the last, like, I think this was 2 days ago, my my Google Photos app updated. So now suddenly I can ask Gemini about my family, my friends, anything like that. And it goes through all my photos. My family has digital photos going well back, my grandparents, so I've got tens of thousands of photos on my Google Photos, and it knows like everything about my grandparents, and like it looks at the images, my grandpa's military experience and knows that he served in Vietnam. Right? It's like it's incredible to see some of that type of stuff just appear out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I feel like those are the types of those integrations are really where at least affect me the most, even though they've got their drawbacks as far as intelligence right now. I feel like it's the specificity to the use that I think.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. There's so much AI technology out there, right? I feel like everyone, including me, I feel like I'm pretty active, but I just like overlook what I have in front of me, kind of going back to that quote. Like, there's so many ways I can make my days more productive than they are right now, just using what's out there right now. So many ways I could gain you insight, kind of like what you were talking about, like, even like remembering like parts of your family history and stuff. That I'm just like not really using it that much.
All right, guys. So here we have some updates from Apple. If you guys already use the Vision Pro, I mean, honestly, there's just like 3 or 4 people out there who have the device. Bunch of us bought it, probably returned it just for the experience. We just wanted to use it, or we experienced it in the Apple Store. But here's a very cool feature that Apple recently added in the Vision OS 2. So now you can actually go back in time, take your 2D photos, and you can create them in spatial mode. So that is like super cool. I feel like if you guys have friends who, there's a very slight probability that any of us might have like the Vision Pro, because I would honestly say it's very overrated, because Meta Quest 3, they have both these technologies, both of these devices have passed through and a couple of cool features. But Vision OS, we still have to get there. But yeah, it's kind of cool just to go back in time and interact with your live photos. Other than that, we had the iPhone 16 released recently, and you guys might have probably already seen in the event. They also announced that they're gonna have like a bunch of improvements. 48 megapixel fusion camera, A80 Bionic. They said that this has been built from ground up just to use the Apple intelligence. But honestly, it's much of like an overhype, because they delivered the product and they don't have the software out yet. And they said it's coming until late fall. So we don't really know when until late fall. But yeah, we're still waiting on it. Anyways, other than that, Apple Intelligence, if you guys tried out the iOS 18 beta, so if you have like 18.1, or if you tried any version of beta, which is like not the standard one right now. So if you have iPhone 15 Pros or later, you might have probably tried the new Apple series, which is like a whole, rainbow effect we have on our screens. it's actually quite cool. It uses, it makes Siri more personalized and more useful and uses private cloud compute. So if you guys are worried about that, it might go through your emails or your photos and it might, sell your data to Apple. So you don't have to be worried about it. All your data stays, stored locally. So you don't have to be worried about it. Uh, Other than that, on the for the Apple Intelligence, I also wanted to mention that one very interesting thing and like a fun fact, Apple used Google's CPUs. So what we have, on Google Pixel, you have Google Pixel, right? So what we have on Google Pixel, it's their own tensor processing units. So Apple used Google's CPUs instead of NVIDIA's GPUs to train their AI model. And apparently, it's being known that it's very photo focused. They'll be using OpenAI's kind of like AI generation model, but it's very personal. We have the new iOS update as well. Now you can apply tinted screens, use a bunch of different colors. It's not like something new. I mean, everyone knows Android has been far ahead in this race ever since. And we have had always on display all these features on Android for, I think, more than a decade, to be honest now. Uh, but anyways, good to, at least have these features. This is the new Siri I was talking about. So we have this whole rainbow colored Siri. It's very personalized. It can access your photos, as you mentioned that, your Google Photos knows about your grandpa from Vietnam War, right? Now this Siri can actually do that. I mean, if you guys already saw the advertisement on YouTube or whatever, it was more like, hey Siri, which was this person I actually met like 2 days ago in this cafe, and Siri was telling them that, I can look in your calendar and this was the guy's name. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But honestly, it's kind of like overhyped. I'll let Ivan talk about PlayStation 5 now.
Yeah, I mean, at least on the Siri now, like I do not like the current Siri.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I've had an iPhone for like a year now. I used to be a Pixel guy. But it is so limiting. Like what I'm seeing is they're just bringing it up to par. Nothing out that like excites me a lot. Just like they're bringing it up to what the level should be at right now. Long overdue in my opinion. Sorry, I didn't mean to backtrack too much. But PS5 Pro, like, I don't know, who here's a game? Yeah, who here plays on console? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm not a big gamer, but it's something that kind of like I would look with your friends. It's a unifying force. We just play FIFA. I don't know. PlayStation 5 Pro, there's a few like differences. I can go over them. Nothing too big here though. Again, like the iPhone 16, it's very marginal. But it's designed for more power and performance. Obviously everything's faster, frame rates, graphics. There's some improvements even for like 8K. It's just for gamers that just want like a smoother experience, like a buffed up PS5, on steroids, pretty much. Not the most exciting stuff, but it's news, so I put it in there. Yeah, so this is something that was in the news a few weeks ago. So this Wireside Chat, it's kind of covering like the past month. We have another one in 2 weeks, so I'll cover in between that window, right? But yeah, I just wanted to discuss this from an optimistic kind of point of view. Obviously, it's not good. But let's get into it. It's strictly apolitical. But basically, yeah, there's I'm not gonna mention any names, but there's a group of people that were using this, and it detonated all at once. Actually, in 2 ways, but all at once in 2 ways. But what is it? So this is like some legacy tech. It's small wireless communication devices. They're also called beepers. There's also different types. But basically, it's a way to ensure that you're communicating with people out like within flimsy networks, so you're always able to reach people. So yeah, it's legacy tech, but it is pretty robust in the fact that you won't be able to communicate with people, which is why like military organizations prefer them. Another industry that uses them are healthcare and emergency services because there's no room for error. Okay, you need to communicate. So next slide, the exploder. Okay, obviously violent. So here's why I'm bringing this up. I remember the day this happened, I was looking at social media and stuff. And there's this link here. I don't know. It's just a link of this guy standing behind like a shield and like an explosion happening. And basically he was igniting like iPhone, just like giving it a bunch of charge and it gets overwhelmed and it goes. Don't really know the physics behind that. But the caption was like, for those that think that this can't happen to your phone, it's like Poland, which is the video. No, actually, they put explosions inside the devices, so we're fine. Don't worry about your phone exploding or any of that. But yeah, just wanted to kind of demystify that because that's something that caught me at first. I was like, whoa, really? But you know, been debunked. But yeah, it's tech news, right? All right, BlackRock and Microsoft AI infrastructure. So they're actually pairing up. Sorry, next slide. Yeah, so they're pairing up. Yeah, they're just like they're investing in data centers. They're investing in energy supply infrastructure. They're investing in cloud computing and networking capabilities that enable AI models to run efficiently. And so these funds, very critical in terms of meeting the demands for computational power and storage and data processing as that grows with the expansion of AI, which is becoming very costly. So yeah, they're just partnering up. Right now it's 30 billion. That's a small amount. You could anticipate 100 billion. One thing I did forget to add here. On this note, Microsoft just bought 3 Mile Island. You guys know what 3 Mile Island is? It was a former nuclear plant, I think in the Midwest.
Yeah.
It had, I think it was America's like only like relatively major nuclear accident, but it went through an accident. It wasn't like tragic, but it was dangerous. So they shut it down completely. And it's like they've been an active abandoned site since. Microsoft just bought that site and they're going to reboot this nuclear plant. And what's that mean? That this is like the first step in these giant tech companies buying and harvesting nuclear power because the demands for energy with AI are so high for training, for serving, and everything else that they do. So yeah, it's kind of cool. They're becoming energy companies in a sense.
Yeah.
Really expanding. More and more. No, it's kind of monolithically crazy. I don't know. But yeah, something to know. Sorry, I forgot a slide. This is in the beginning. There's like smoke towers and stuff. But yeah, all right. And last but not least, this concept. Do you have something about this?
It's the Meta Connect.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just have-
All right, so yeah, last kind of like concept is Meta Connect. So this was, I believe, about a week ago.
Yeah.
It's Meta's like annual like tech convention, pretty much talking about what they've been working on, what they're releasing, all that stuff. So yeah, let's get into it. So first, Meta Quest is very good technology. I'm not going to lie. I remember everyone was kind of in the dumps about it like 2 years ago. This like concept of a metaverse. People were so pessimistic about the future of this company. They stole all their stock. Meta went down to 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now it's at like 580.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I think it's up 20% in the last week. That's what's seen.
Yeah,
right?
20% in the last week. Right. So very like obviously like they're really stepping up their game. I think that was a necessary slap in the face. But also I feel like they were working on stuff then that they didn't want to talk about yet. And this is it. So this is really good technology. So for like 300 bucks, you can get your own AR. AR is augmented reality. So it's not VR where you're just trapped in a box. You can actually, interact with the world, which most VR systems are ready to do. But yeah, obviously, like it's pretty concealing and bulky. It's weird to walk around with, but when you're at home, like it's great. It lets you, talk to people while watching something, while listening to Spotify. You can open all these windows all over the place. So you don't even need to buy monitors. You just put this on. Think about it. 300 bucks. Okay? Pretty good. Obviously, like this is like pretty initial technology, so it's not gonna be perfect, but it's impressive. And it just like gives you this freedom to kind of live in the world and really be productive and really maximize this like entertainment factor. So something I like to think about is like I love movies always, and when I was like a teenager, I had this like huge dream of with career I'll get money, I'll get like a big house, big enough for me to spare a room as a theater room. So I could watch movies in there and feel, like pretty affluent people have, dream big. But I'm looking at that now and it's like, why would I have a theater room if I could just put this on? It's gonna be even better too. And I could turn any room into like that scenic environment that I went. And yeah, so I mean, pretty cool stuff, like for entertainment, for productivity, for work. I'm pretty sure the employees at Meta are actually building this product within the product. They put it on and they build it. It's cool stuff. Yeah.
Let's just.
Yeah, go ahead.
Has anyone ever used Quest here before? Just like a quick question. Okay, for those of you who haven't like not used it yet, there's like a lab at ASU. I think it's known as the Next Lab. I just know it from a friend of mine. And they do offer, free experiences. So you guys can go there, check out the Quest Pro, the Quest 3. I'm not sure if they have the Vision Pro, but they do have the Quest 3. So you guys should definitely, give the Quest 3 like at least a try. As Evan was saying, that he wanted like a home theater when he was like a kid. I mean, everyone wants to dream, have like your own personalized experience. I feel what sets VR or mainly like mixed reality apart is that you have your own individualized experience, but you can also use those some videos on YouTube. Let's say, I mean, I watched Avengers Age of Ultron and like Vision Pro. I work at this place and they had this experience. And it was like amazing, you see those things where like Iron Man, like, boosting like laser beams and you're seeing all those things in VR. It's amazing. It's like out of the world. You guys should definitely give it a try. Even so, you guys can have, there are some videos on YouTube. There's like bunch of videos which are like 4K spatialized 3D experiences, which you can like watch in like 360. And it will be very immersive. Like, just give it a try if you haven't already. And you'll be like, if you feel AI is out of the world, then you'll be like, this is very immersive. So yeah, it's just something where, like all your senses come to one point and try to feel something as a whole. It's very immersive. That's all I have about this.
Yeah. So another thing that it brings is this like photorealistic spacing technology. They kind of they didn't like they just kind of talked about it as like a concept. I don't know how much progress they have on this so far. But you open this like screen, you can select which space you want in. And then it loads it, and yeah, then you can walk around, and it's like pretty realistic in the download. So it's like think about this. You're walking around your childhood home one last time before you know it's going to be sold. And you have so many memories and so much emotions to read about. But unfortunately, it's time for you to move on, and you will go with someone else. Your family will be right. I mean, I remember when this happened to me. I was like 14. I just like took a video of everything, but tried to like have some memory of it. I kind of don't trust my memory. It's not bad, but I feel like it's very. I lose a lot of data. The memory just kind of like fades away, right? I trust like technology much more, I guess. So I tried, it's like my insurance policy to never forget where I come from. Just in case, I think, whatever happens to me, or if I just happen to forget it, who knows? But think about that, like, this is like taking that video, but actually living in it. You kind of scan every like niche and corner, and you can walk around as if you're there. You want to role play in that sense, but yeah, it's like really cool. And it's also like cool, like, think about passing this down generations, like showing what the world was like literally living in the world right now, with different technologies, different like landscapes, you know, maybe you activate this, and, I don't know. It's difficult moving objects to like 4 AM in like New York, where there aren't like moving cars everywhere, you just capture the essence of that still environment. And then you can, I don't know, share it to like your reaction with children, it's pretty cool. But yeah, Llama 3.2. So this is basically Facebook's LLM model, and it's unique. It's unique in two ways. Number one, it's open source, which is insane. Okay, it's open source. And number two, you can actually download this natively and have it run like really well. So you can download it on your computer, go on a plane, go to like Antarctica, and run Llama 3 on your computer. It's very impressive technology. You don't have to be connected to any server, so it can run highly native. Some points about this. It's multimodal too. So yeah, it can natively understand like images and files and stuff. Very cool stuff. Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, we just had some benchmarks from vision structure. They're mostly like as Ivan mentioned, that this model runs, natively or like locally on the device. It is like so advanced that in the Llama 3.2, you have like 90 billion parameters just for images. It's like far ahead of GPT, or maybe far if we compare it to Claude Haiku. It's also very advanced compared to, some of the other AI models that we have in the market right now. For example, if you guys already, knew this, Apple Intelligence, it's going to be local on your device, right? That's why we have more RAMs in the new iPhones, and then we have the A18 chip, the A18 Bionic chip. But the thing is, it will only be constrained to or like limited to 70 billion parameters. Whereas Llama, it's like open source. You can download it completely on your device, have, image recognition, you can generate text basically. Being like open source. You guys can have, local projects, just have anything with it basically. So yeah, we just have some benchmarks over here, which you guys can take a look at. How long actually is. Then it was just I think these are just some of the slides. Actually, if you guys follow Zach on social media, he had some of these slides that you guys can ask the AI to do it for you. I think it's already integrated in your Instagram and also on your WhatsApp. So I think you just have to do /Meta AI. I haven't really used it that much since it came out, but they have had some amazing updates, and it actually looks very surreal. I follow Zach on social media, so I saw one of his images where he was like, Zach mafia mode, and then Zach in Italy, and then a lot of things. And it's pretty cool. It's like, it feels really real, to be honest, that you're having like states, and then also the good thing is very specific. Like, I don't know if you guys remember. Do you guys remember Pixar back from like 2016 or 17 when it was like very popular? Has anyone here already used Pixar? It was a very specific software where you could, like cut out these images and then paste them on their own. But it was like so tough. Like it was it was just, also it wasn't very efficient. It was like, you have to set out the whole part and then put it over there and then make sure the image remains consistent. Now you can all just do that with a prompt. I mean, it's so easy. Like how far are we 8 years, how we were like doing like back in 2016. If we see that, it's so consistent. So really excited, like seeing this technological achievement that we have actually you know been on. Here's some videos from Meta's, and I think it was a AI campaign that they were doing. So you can have, the reels and then you can translate them. It's like basically live translation. They also have this available feature on their Meta glasses, which they have partnered with Solega, which makes Ray-Ban. So you have these features in your glasses now where you go in a parking lot, you can see the live location of where you actually parked your car or you buy, and you also have live translation available in that glasses. So it's a pretty cool feature. I think other than that, we wanted to talk about Orion. If you guys already saw in the news, this is actually super cool. I mean, I was in awe when I saw this device. I was like, this is like that, uh, kind of like that, those movies which we sci-fi movies that we used to watch. You watch Iron Man, the other stuff. I mean, I think Zuck also said that it's more of like a whole decade research that they released in Metaplanet. And it's pretty cool. It just weighs like 100 grams. And let me check for the specifics of it. And you can have like voice and AI. Yeah, do you want to take over?
Yeah, so very impressive stuff. Yeah, this is some really cool technology. Raise your hand if you want to like one of those Apple stores and you try out Apple. Yeah, just impressive. It's a little so this is like, honestly, I did not see this coming. This is something that could almost pass the world. Like you're walking around and it's an entirely new technology. So first of all, there's no wires, there's no battery that weighs like 2 kilograms that you put in your back pocket that makes your pants fall down if you're wearing a belt. That's number one. It weighs less than 100 grams. That's impressive. Okay. Heavier than the normal glasses, obviously, but still. Holographic displays. Okay, so this is like the epitome of augmented reality, where you're living in the world and then you append to it, you add to the world. So they basically use this like totally, totally new kind of display architecture, very physics heavy. So they have these like tiny projectors on the arms of the glasses, and they shoot light. They shoot light into like these waveguides those waveguides, they have like nanoscale 3D structures that are etched into the lenses. And so they diffract light and then they put these holograms of different depths and sizes all in front of you. It's so impressive. I encourage you when you get home to watch like the demos after this. You could like pick stuff up. It's so cool. Like you could put like a pineapple on that table. I thought of an example when I was watching. I'm still getting used to the. I was a reliable Neil fans. I thought they would fix it. But okay. I don't want to like make any mistakes. I was thinking, what if I could just like put stuff so I don't like sort of grease fires? Like I just put this on and I like set up like the kitchen right here. And I'm pretending to cook. Maybe I accelerate the waiting process. But I was just like there's so much you can learn here. It's so much like relevant like life lessons that you can learn through this. But yeah, so a few more things about it. So obviously you can use your voice to command it. But sometimes you're in public. so you don't want to be talking to yourself. Like I did on my walk home. But so obviously there's hand tracking too, but you don't want to be like, right? And there's eye tracking, which is also impressive. But they implemented this like new thing. He didn't go much in depth, but it's like this wrist-based neural network where you just like kind of move your hand down here and it knows where you want to press. That's all he said pretty much. But it would be like this very like nonchalant way of like interacting with the classes, right? And it's very precise. So cool stuff. Let me see if there's anything else on this note. Yeah, I mean, like for now, again, like this is kind of used like internally as a dev kit and for people actually about it. So, but last thing on here, the Mark 4.104 update. So Mark version 4, this humanoid version 4 is pretty impressive. And yesterday we saw the 4.104 version. He was wearing some drippy shirt. I think he had a necklace too. Yeah. He's got like life. He looks pretty human. I don't know. Like I can't tell. But yeah, that's it for our Wireside Chat 1. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Cool stuff. Next week won't be as dense. Still we'll like find things to talk about. You know, yeah. Thank you guys for coming.
All right, thank you all for coming. We'll be having our front end workshop next week, October 10th, Thursday, 6 to 8 in the same hall. So excited to see you all here next week. And thanks all for coming. Hope you guys have a nice time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Please, someone,
Can't believe I got the 3 Mile Island.
which one?
The nuclear plant.